Hey guys, got a new daily driver. I picked this up a couple weeks ago. It is an '07 F350. It is an XL, but it does have some good options in my opinion. It's an FX4. It's four-wheel drive, manual hubs, manual shift, transfer case, and it is also, prepare to be jealous, 6-speed manual. It's got 191,000. I got my tuner sitting up there, but it is not tuned. I'm just using it for gauges. Rubber floor. Does have a sliding back window, which I find pretty odd on an XL. A couple things I've done on it since I got it. I put a pair of batteries in it. Changed out the degas bottle because it was just completely yellowed over. You couldn't even see where the level was. When I bought this, I knew the injectors were starting to get some stiction and they were probably going to need replaced. But I figured I would do some maintenance items and try and get them to come back around before I spent $1,700 on Ford injectors. So I've bolted on some eBay goodies. I got a intercooler piping kit. The reason I did that was not to be a high school kid about it, but the factory cold side intercooler pipe is just cracked all the heck. So if I wasn't leaking boost there, it wasn't far away from it. So I just bought a cheap $200 kit. Came with both intercooler pipes, all the clamps, all the couplers. It did come with this cold air intake, which I kind of ran it my own way. I didn't like how it hooked up to the turbo and where the PCV setup hooked up on the aftermarket Chinese kit was pretty ghetto. So I just that's big 4-inch pipe, so I just used the factory stuff to there, and then the mass air mounts upside down for some reason. But that's how it is. Like I said, I changed that overflow, and then I changed this lower hose because it was leaking at that little plastic coupler there. The best thing I've done to it so far was that gray box back there is the fuel injection control module. And these factory use a 48 volt system, so it sends 48 volts through the harness to the injectors to signal when to open. And this one uses 58. So, you know, you get about 18% more voltage going to the injector. So these injectors were starting to stick. So when you first fire it up in the morning, it would start fine and idle fine. But if you drove away immediately, it would, once you got above 1500 RPM, it would kind of chug and buck a little bit until once the oil temp got up to 125 or more, it smoothed out. But like I said, I put this 58 volt. It is a GB is the brand, and it's their Arctic Power Volt. So it helps with cold starts in the winter. It doesn't really give you any added performance per se. I mean, technically it would, but it'd be negligible. But it definitely has a lot more power because it had the original 2006 manufacture date FICM fuel injection control module. So from what it had to what it is now, yes, it is quite a bit more power, but I think it's more just getting the correct signal to the injectors versus that actually adding power. Other things, I did the banjo bolts that supply fuel to the cylinder heads to the newer 6.4 style because they flow fuel better, which helps the injectors last. I did the blue spring recommended by Ford mod to the fuel pressure. Brings the fuel pressure from like 45 up to 60. And then I put all Ford fuel filters and oil filter in it. What else? The e-brake didn't work. I changed the passenger rear e-brake cable. So now the parking brake works good. It does have a pretty large exhaust, but it does have a muffler, so it's not very loud. But one thing I did like about this was it did have an EGR delete done already. And see if I can get a good shot on it. That rusty bolt down there, those are ARP head studs. So this truck at some point in its life did blow the head gaskets. Let's see if I can show you again on this side. And someone had the heads off and they did the right thing and they put ARP studs on it. So crossing my fingers I don't have any issues with head gaskets. I was pushing a little coolant out for a little while, but after I put this in, the Ford kind of revised the fill level on these. The sticker was actually, there's a line cast into here, and that line originally was supposed to be the cold minimum level before it actually revised that to the, I believe they changed it all the way to the hot maximum level. So I ended up peeling this sticker off and lowering it down because it seems to be the sweet spot. Like, it doesn't push any coolant out, doesn't smell like coolant ever now. So knock on wood, everything's fine with that. I think I just had it way overfilled because you could see coolant up to like here when I would filled it cold at that line, which obviously was just way too high. But I guess end of the world, I need to do head gaskets eventually. I do have access to a lift, so it's not the end of the world. Plus it's really not bad. I mean, if you do the head gaskets like Ford does, they basically only do valve cover gaskets, intake manifold gaskets, standpipes, and head gaskets. I mean, the dealer kind of has it down to a science. They've kind of figured out over the years, the less stuff you take apart, the less stuff you got to go wrong. So, but yeah, I just wanted to show you guys what I've been kind of tinkering on. I didn't really want to do like all the how-tos on all the stuff I've been doing because there's already dozens, if not hundreds, of videos on YouTube showing you how to put a cold air intake or intercooler piping or put the fuel injection control module in it. So I don't like really putting out videos that there's already a bunch of other content out there on. But so yeah, this will probably be in some videos here and there. For now, it is my daily driver, and I'm loving it. I'll see you guys on the next one.